Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Our Otaki MP Nathan Guy. Good morning, Nathan.
Good morning, Nigel. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. You got a busy day again ahead of you today. Any further update on the airport after the big rally you had last weekend?
Yeah, great rally. Thank you very much to Beach FM for organising it. Sorry, I'm just outside Parliament. It's a bit noisy. Yeah, fantastic. Good turnout, and certainly people moving on from the fact that they've been disappointed about Air New Zealand's decision and hoping that we can embrace Air Chatham's. They're donkey deep in discussions with Todd Property Group this week.
Oh, yes.
So hopefully in the next week or two we'll find out, and I'm, fingers and toes crossed that it'll be positive for our community and we can get a plane in there and connect with Auckland in the next couple of months.
Yes, we might be without a service for 2 or 3 weeks, might we, or even a bit longer?
Oh, longer, because Air New Zealand dumped on us and only gave us 3 weeks warning, so there's no way that we could have a seamless operation with a new provider coming in. So it's likely we'll have a lag there of a couple of months, maybe 1 or 2. Fortunately, Air Chatham's just got a couple of new planes.
Oh, good.
Saab 36, 37-seaters.
Yep.
So they're just working through the regulatory process with Todd Property, whether they can get those planes in and land and all that sort of stuff, which I'm hopeful they can. And then we can resume again. But there is going to be a bit of a lag, and the petition's closing off. Today I'm presenting it to Parliament, just tallying up the numbers as we speak. It looks in the vicinity of sort of 8,000 or 9,000, which is fantastic. And what will happen with that petition is it's likely to go to the Transport Select Committee. It'll be up to those members whether they want to call Air New Zealand in and have a bit of a chat, which will be fascinating.
Right. Do you think that might happen, Nathan, or do you think, Air New Zealand's gone from here? It's not just Kapiti, it's from other areas as well, isn't it? I mean, look at
right.
New Plymouth, reduced their numbers.
That's right. I think that the Select Committee will be very interested to hear directly from Air New Zealand as to what their plan is.
Right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if this petition gives them an opportunity to call Air New Zealand in, which won't be a bad thing because we're not the only ones going through this at the moment. I think a flight's been canned out of Hamilton, which has disappointed some people, and Tauranga benefits and we lose. So it's just unfortunate. It's the decision that Air New Zealand has decided to make, and I don't agree with it.
No, you see, as I was saying, New Plymouth, they've had their flights reduced too by Air New Zealand. And I think Blenheim might be next in line because, lots of cancellation of their flights to Blenheim. But anyhow, we'll see what the Select Committee has to say about that. But I always say, one door closes, another opens. This is good for a Maori carrier, business development for Maoris, because Air Chatham's is owned by Maori, isn't it?
I'm not exactly sure of their ownership structure, but certainly they started in the Chathams. We heard that on Sunday at the rally, carrying live crayfish back. And now they have a great reputation in terms of regional airline and connecting communities, and they certainly get very deep in the community. And they, end up sponsoring quite a few things, which will be great. And I guess the issues are, if Air Chatham's is likely to come in, it'd be great if the synergies between Air New Zealand improve, because obviously there are some. Currently, as I understand it, you need to take your bags off the luggage belt and then go and check them into an Air New Zealand flight.
Okay.
If they could end up with some sort of code share arrangement, ultimately, that'd be fantastic. The other one is, of course, booking. You have a separate booking system. If that could somehow be a button on the Air New Zealand website, that would, you get greater synergies there. And some of the other travellers that are frequent saying, wouldn't it be fantastic if somehow they could earn some of the air points or even get into the Koro Lounge, the regional end in Auckland. So, there's quite a few opportunities for potentially Air Chatham's to work even closer with Air New Zealand. But ultimately, the ball is in Air New Zealand's court. So if some of those things were fleshed out in the Select Committee, I think that would be useful for the relationship with Air Chatham's.
So how quickly will it get to the Select Committee, Nathan?
Pretty quickly.
Yep.
It'll be presented in Parliament this afternoon, and then it'll be off to a Select Committee, I would think, in the next few weeks, bearing in mind we've got Easter, but the House is sitting for 2 more weeks, so they may not get onto it in this sitting block. It may be after the school holidays.
Excellent. Mycoplasma, I see 22,000 cows are going to be put down, and that's a big loss for our farming community, isn't it? How long is it going to take to recover from this?
Will take a while. There's a bit of a lag effect once the culling has occurred. Of course, there's no food safety issues with the meat product, so that is some good news. Farmers get obviously a check back for their livestock and then some compensation on top. It's disappointing it's got to this, but we're one of the few countries that hasn't got Mycoplasma bovis, so if we can eradicate, which is the indication from the government at this point in time, then we should throw the kitchen sink at it and hope we can.
Okay. You mentioned, I think last time I was talking to you about it, there was some farms up in Hawke's Bay, was it, that got Mycoplasma, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Hawke's Bay and the Waikato, so it is in the North Island, but it's all traced back to one or two of the farms that are very much at the epicentre. Stop moving out of the South Island. So part of the issue has been this has really tested the NATE system, which is the electronic air tag system in cattle and deer. This disease only affects cattle, so it's been a real wake-up for farmers and processors and industry to ensure that they are recording between farm movements better than what they have been.
So the animals on these farms, Waikato, Hawke's Bay, will they be put down too, will they?
Yeah, they have been already culling some on animal welfare grounds. And culling kicked off in sort of November, December. They did 7 properties then, and then the government ran out of money and had to go back and get some more and talk to industry and get some out of them to help run the operation. And now they are underway with the culling of the next 22 herds.
Yes, you can't run out of money though, can you, on such an important issue? You must have the money there somewhere.
Well, you'd like to think so, but the problem is that this is a big spending government and their priorities are generally elsewhere. They tend to be on, sorting out the students and getting them, fees free into university, and quite a bit in sort of transport into Auckland, particularly on light rail, and we've got unanswered questions whether they're indeed going to fund the next section of the road from Otaki to north of Levin. So, different priorities.
Yeah, sure.
But certainly this is really important for not only the primary sector, but the wider New Zealand economy. Okay.
So in the long run, have we got any danger of our dairy industry being sort of dismantled just about?
No, we haven't. This is a productivity issue, so it's mastitis and lameness and things like that, a little bit of abortion.
Yes.
So it would impact if it got established here. Farmers would have to cull themselves. I think you'll find the government also is thinking about a medium long-term management plan, because while they might go hard and try and eradicate, they may run out of money. This disease you can have carrier cows where it takes an onset of stress to bring on the disease to make it clinical.
Oh, right.
So in other words, winter or spring calving, when conditions are more trying, feed's a bit tight, and that could be that some of these subclinical cows start showing signs. So they are also mindful of the fact that they may not be able to get rid of it, which would be really disappointing, and may need to move to a medium long-term management plan, which will mean every individual farmer has to deal with it. Okay.
Now, the other one, just before you go, Myrtle rust, I see it's in Zealandia in Wellington. Have we got myrtle rust up here on the Kapiti Coast?
We haven't yet. It's in Manawatu,
right.
But it's airborne and it moves very easily. And all the evidence I saw when I was a minister is it's highly likely it's blown in from Australia.
Yep.
Several wind events that it could have shown up. Remember back to those big cyclones we had last year. So it's really unfortunate, but there's no real way of getting rid of it. You can spray at a very localised level at a nursery, but it tends to be under the foliage.
Yes.
So to put a helicopter in with a boom doesn't kill it. And because it's so easily to move, windborne, right atmosphere, temperature, wind, it moves so very, very easily.
Yeah.
So what MPI and the government have been working on is once again a long-term management plan for this, collecting seeds from certain species that might be at risk, and I guess communication as well is going to be a fundamental thing, and trying to back it up with some decent science. There has been some science that's been done around the world, a little bit in New Zealand, so the government's looking at, well, I know we were, and they'll probably be doing the same, turbocharging some of that scientific work as well.
Yeah, sure. All right, Nathan, appreciate your busy schedule today, spending time with us, but have a good Easter and a break if you can.
Yeah, look forward to it, Nigel. Great to have a chat, and thanks once again for organising the rally that was really successful last Sunday at the airport.
Good on you. Well done. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Nigel.
Nathan Guy, Otaki MP.
106.3 Beach FM.